Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin, and Doug, what's the weirdest dream you've ever had?
I'll tell you one of the worst dreams I've ever had.
Oh, tell me. Tell me.
Just-
I'm in now. I'm into this.
Not last night, but the night before, I had a dream that Natalie died, and it fucking wrecked me. In the dream, and after I woke up, I'm like, this sucks. I don't like this.
I'm assuming it was one of those like very visceral.
It happened off screen in the dream. It was just like,
okay, so you didn't witness it. Okay.
I didn't witness it. I just knew that it had, like, someone's like, Natalie died in an automobile accident. And I was like devastated. I was absolutely devastated. And I remember I was like calling. I was like, somehow I was like meeting with my brother. I'm like, hey man, I need you to come over here. I need to tell you something. I was just like having to deliver the news. And I was just like, it was awful. And I woke up and I was like, hey, Jill, I had a bad dream. I'm not going to tell you about it. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I had a bad dream and I don't want to tell you about it because I don't want to ruin your day. So
right.
She's like, cool, thanks for the story. I'm like, you're welcome.
Well, it's one of those, too, where like you have to, you do have to tell, because you're going to be, without a doubt, noticeably in a different mood. You know what I mean? So you had to tell her, like, look, I had a bad dream. I'm not going to get into it because it's going to wreck your day. But just so you know, I'm going to need like an hour to shake this off because I don't feel right now.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Thankfully, I think just psychologically, I'm like, you can't dwell on this. So I just like immediately like exited that from my brain. So I was like, nope, we're good here. No more. And I didn't think about it.
To exit it? Like, did you do something to just immediately take your mind off it?
I think my brain was like, we can't do this. So we'll move on with our day. And I was like, thank you.
That's intense, dude.
My psychiatric barrier was like, walls up. All that is out. What do you have to do today? Go do that.
Wow. Holy Nikes. That's something. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as like weird dreams, I mean, Jesus, dreams are weird all the time. Like everything that makes sense while you're in there and you get out, you try to explain it. You're like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Like yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'll say, I remember another dream I wrote down because it was so fucking cool that
Let's hear it.
I was like, it was terrifying. It was seriously, it felt like a horror movie that was like tastefully done. Like atmospheric horror.
Like an A24 horror film.
Yeah. But the idea was, it was something along the lines of, we got invited by my high school ex-girlfriend who I haven't talked to since high school.
Red flag number one.
Right. Reached out to me on Facebook or something, was like, hey, there's this great house I think you and your family should look at. It's like really, really great. And I was like, that sounds normal. We should go do that. So I took, Jill and Natalie, to this house. It's very remote. It's like in Colorado or some shit. And it was like super remote by itself, beautiful, like forest and things like that. But this, woman was incredibly like distressed. It was like, please, you should get this house, like stay here for the night, everything like that, like test it out. And we're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. We should do that too. And long story short, like, this house was like, this area was like, I don't know if you want to call it haunted, but there was a creature that existed there and, it would steal your kids. And, this woman had made a deal with the entity. It's like, find a replacement for your child. It had taken her child. It's like, find someone else, find another child to replace it, and I'll give you yours back. And so, like, in the dream, like, I hear Natalie crying, and then I go to her room, and she's not there. And she'd been taken by this creature. And it was like,
dude, this is a legit, like, that's a great setup for an actual movie.
I wrote it down. I was like, we
should workshop this. That's really great.
It was absolutely fucking terrifying. In
the dream is terrifying.
Honestly, there was amazing like dolly shots and everything like that were fading. What? Like I woke up being like, that was cinematically gorgeous.
You concocted a cinematic masterpiece.
It was so creepy because it would like, as it was fading to black and stuff, it would like go into foliage and stuff. Like it was like
you would like crossfade into B-roll.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus, this is crazy. There was like a feeling and a vibe and a tone with it that was unsettling as fuck, and it was super cool. And I woke up like, where's my kid? Because Nally was also younger at the time. So
Yeah.
like that, the idea for
I've
crying
heard-
and then can't find her, like, uh-oh.
Yeah. I just like that you dream just like fade in, exterior, farmland, day.
Yeah.
The breeze blows through crisp autumn leaves.
But
falling
something
from
is
the trees.
unsettling in the air, even though the wind blows.
An unsettling breeze flows through. I've heard that when you have kids, I've heard from multiple people that like not only does your priorities, like your waking fears and things, just your whole mental state changes. But I've heard that your dreams, most people's dreams change too. Like they're like real fucking weird, real messed up.
I mean, I didn't birth the child, so I can't speak on that part of it. And I'm sure there's
No. Having
more.
a kid, just not birthing
Sure.
a kid.
I'm sure
parent.
birthing also is an extra level of that too. Like
I'm
just
sure,
the hormones
yeah.
and stuff that happen with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, when you have a kid, there's always this constant fear that they're going to die at any moment. And you like push that away because you just like the dream I had, I'm like, I can't think about that.
I can't,
because if
yeah,
I think
this is
about
gonna-
that, I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
Like you just have to accept and just move on and be like, everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. And that's the way that it is. Otherwise you'll go crazy.
Right.
Yeah. It's a horrible thing that you're just like, boy, I sure hope they can fend for themselves. And like, you look forward to them being able to walk instead of crawl everywhere. But then when they walk, you're like, wait, they have access to more things. They can get to more places faster even.
Oh no, the world just got worse. Oh god.
Oh no, they're talking clearly. Which means they can, say things now and communicate in a way that's like,
Right.
well, that's an extra level of danger. The other day, Natalie's like, hey, I want to get this game. It's a dinosaur game. I looked at it and I was like, this is $30. Go fuck yourself. We're not doing that. And also I was like, this is an online game. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not exposing you to assholes online. No, absolutely
Absolutely.
not. You don't
Yeah.
deserve that.
No, you're far too innocent.
You don't need to deal with that. And I explained that to her. I was like, you don't need to deal with that shit. Like, that's
Yeah.
absurd. Like, it's wait till you're older and you have to deal with that crap. Like, don't worry about it now.
You're like, you
know?
know when you play games with dad and his friends, this is not like that. The world does not exist of mind gap community. The world is far less friendly.
Yeah, it's far less friendly. So it's like that. And then you're like, oh, at some point she's going to fucking drive. I'm like, oh,
Right.
good. A whole
There
new
you
level
go.
of fear and
Oh,
anxiety.
right.
It's like, yeah. So it just gets amplified and changed as time goes on. So
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, great. Things to look forward to. So anyway, Justin,
Fantastic.
what about you? Your weirdest dream?
So similarly, I remember there's one dream that has always stuck with me, and I had this dream. I must have been, I maybe 10. Like I was young when I had this dream, and it has always stuck with me. And I think it happened a few times. I think that's why it stuck so hard. And typically, I think it happened after. So on Fridays, we've talked about this before. I think my mom and stepdad had a bowling league, and like I would get to rent like 2 movies and get pizza and pop, and like I had a night to myself once I got to be a certain age, right? And I would always go to the movie store and I would walk through the horror movies and see was Child's Play, and the thing terrified me. And I think I ended up seeing a trailer for one of the new releases or something, right? So I had this dream where I think I was watching this third party, but there was and this is gonna get real. I don't even know should I go full graphic because it's gross. Let's go.
Yeah,
so
let's go.
Yeah. So there was long story short, I don't know how we got here, but there was a demon thing, like a Chucky who had taken this woman's baby and was slowly plunging a knife into it, very, very slowly. And to end that, the woman grabbed the baby and plunged it quick, just to make it go quicker. So because the baby was going anyway, and there was a guy standing with her who was helpless and onlooking, and he was dressed like a longshoreman, like the knit cap and the whatever.
Of course.
I don't know why this happened like on a pier. And I just remember that scene playing over and over in my, like I would have that dream, and it stuck with me. I have never figured out why, or I would love to unpack that with some sort of psychologist, but fuck it. It was a weird dream. It was a weird dream.
Yeah.
Terrifying as a kid. You're like, you wake up, you're like, what is happening right now?
That's a wild thing to have as a 10-year-old. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's
10, 13, somewhere in there. But still, I was young enough to where I shouldn't be dreaming that. Now, I'm gonna lighten it back up.
okay.
Have you ever taken melatonin to help you
No.
sleep? Okay. I found out that there are melatonin dreams. And Bob and I have talked about this a lot, and they are wild. They're wild dreams. So I
just went to like wet dreams. You got melatonin dreams.
You got melatonin dreams. Melatonin dreams where you come out your ass. It's all right.
Oh boy. So diarrhea.
But this has to do with the butt. So stay with me.
Oh, okay. I'm with you. Hey, so you had me at butt. So
I woke up thinking, well, that was weird. So the whole dream revolved around me taking a poop, right? And you remember the scene where Andy Dwyer in Parks and Rec, the blooper, where he talks about wiping the marker?
Yeah.
And it just, you wipe and you wipe. And you've all had those where, it never stops. So I was having that experience, but it was like scooping up mud. Like it was like a lot. But the only place that the toilet paper was being disposed from was inside my butt. So I had to go through the dookie to pull out the toilet paper, which then came out already dookified, and I couldn't wipe. And it was this weird perpetual, and I couldn't figure. There was no way to get a clean rip of paper to clean the rest of it off.
This is like a saw trap, like a David Cronenberg saw trap. It
was. And I woke up and I was half amused. I'm like, I kind of want to see how this ends up. Like but it was just a Jacob's Ladder thing. We just kept going. Like, wow. So that was a very, very recent one. And every time I would say that I've taken melatonin, it is a trippy.
It is.
I would love to see what dreams you had if you took the 5 milligram melatonin. Like,
there's a lot of things we want to know about me. What would I be like drunk? What would I be like high? What would I be like on melatonin? Who knows? We'll never know.
I mean, melatonin is not a drug per se. It's just you buy
Fuck
that over.
You.
I'm just saying, Doug. You go and get it at the CVS. When you guys come up here, just take one to go to sleep. It's the chemical your body naturally produces, and if you just have trouble going to sleep,
join our Patreon and we'll post the video of me on melatonin.
Well, it's not on. You take it, you just fall.
No, man.
Asleep.
I'm on weed. I'm on melatonin. All right, like.
If you're on melatonin, you're sleeping.
If you're on melatonin,
there is no on melatonin.
You're on a different planet, buddy.
It's like the ambient starfish. Do you remember that pitch when we were still writing?
Yeah.
Pitched that one.
Yeah.
If you can take ambient and then stay awake, push past, you see some good stuff.
Yeah. No, thank you. What a way to start this episode off. Let us know what's your weirdest dream. YouTube.com/MindGapPodcast. Write in the comments or join us in the Discord. Links in the description. We'd love to hear from you. That's how we start an episode. I had so many more thoughts. I'm like, we got to move on from this. So it's like I could talk about dreams forever. I was like, no, we can't do that. Yeah. All right. So today's episode is all about the ultimate crossover. Which universes should collide? Which universes should smash? Which one should smash together? So we're going to be talking about, fictional universes and what if they mashed up, what it would be like, what's cool, what's not. For example, what if Jedi landed in Middle Earth? What would that be like? What if Hogwarts and Xavier's team, school of kids, like had school together? What would that be like? So we're gonna talk about the chaos, the genius, and the totally cursed crossovers that we're going to have here for these different things. So basically, we're just going to be like, what would be cool, what would make an awesome story, and what would be insane. So that's kind of like what we're looking for here. Yep. So
let's kick this off.
All right. So first off, we've got, once again, Avatar, The Last Airbender. I feel like I've talked about this for 3 episodes in a row. And My Hero Academia, which you're not familiar with either of these entities, I know. Probably more familiar with Avatar than you are with My Hero Academia.
I've watched the first My Hero Academia.
Oh, the first? Yeah.
Episode.
Are you on weed? I watched the first My Hero Academia. Okay.
Yep. Oh, man. You don't want to see me watching that.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch the second My Hero Academia too?
No.
You actually watched the first episode of that?
Yeah. Wasn't that the one that you always recommend to me?
I know. I recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, you don't recommend that one. Hold on.
Well, fuck you. I do too. How dare you?
No, I've never heard you speak of this before.
I have mentioned that in passing to you. The fact that you don't remember it is fine. Like, I get it.
No, not My Hero Academia. What am I thinking of? Arcane?
Fullmetal Alchemist?
No.
Arcane.
Arcane. Is that the one with the sisters and?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally different from My Hero Academia.
I watched the first episode of Arcane.
Yeah, I was like, where did you watch the first My Hero Academia? As
Crunchyroll.
Yeah, oh, very good. Good guess. Very good guess. So in Avatar: The Last Airbender, you've got people that have this, some people have the innate ability to bend elements. Earth, wind, fire, water. The Avatar can bend all of them. So there's this ability to, essentially affect the world around them with their abilities. My Hero Academia is essentially like, there are people, like a significant portion of the world has this thing called a quirk. It's a genetic thing that allows people to essentially have a superpower. Some of them are useful. Some of them are not. Some of them are pretty meager, so they don't really, some people become, there's different levels of superheroes depending on their abilities. Like, for example, a guy that's not impressive is someone who's like, can just like create water, but like, it's like, like for example, there's a guy that, this guy's super abilities, if he has his eyes open and he's focusing on someone, their abilities do not work. He cancels out their abilities.
Okay.
But if he blinks, then his power stops. So he's like trains himself to like keep his, and at one point he's desperately trying to keep his eyes open on this supervillain. And this guy that controls water goes over and like keeps water flowing in his eyes so he doesn't have to blink.
Oh, see, that's a good pairing.
So,
okay, yeah.
So it comes out, and there's tons of stuff. People. Okay. There's a girl that can like literally create matter. She reaches into her chest and pulls out and creates things.
Okay.
There's people that are super strong. People that can create explosions from their sweat. Like it's a bunch of different stuff. So what's cool about this is you have the idea of these people that can affect the world around, people with superheroes, and I think that those two worlds connecting would be absolutely fascinating. So you've got the school setting, because in Avatar, a lot of the people are young too, at least in the first season. And the idea of like these people who are learning how to bend, these people who are learning how to, use their quirks. The idea of like, are the benders kind of like in their own thing and the people with quirks are in the other, are the rivalries, like what's that look like as they do different things? I think that'd be so cool.
Well, I like the idea. I like the idea too that if you got someone whose power was that they could create water, but then you get a water bender.
Yeah.
Could that person use the water against the person creating it?
100% they could.
That would be wild.
Undoubtedly, they'd be able to do that because we've seen in the Avatar world where someone can take someone's sweat and then use it as.
Oh, really?
There's even bloodbenders who it's kind of a more like a gray area at best, where basically you are able to bend the blood and control people because of the blood.
Well, there's a lot of water in blood. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. So they're able to do that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. And again, like the quirks are so vast and just fat. Like the abilities that are there are just absolutely astronomical and endless and everything like that. So I think seeing those two mash up, I think would be really, really cool.
Now, what genre would this world live in?
You could do like
watching this.
You could do like the classic anime of like school. They're in school together and but they team up to fight the bad guys and whatever and things like that. So kind of like actiony, fun,
sci-fi,
sort of stuff like
or
that.
Fantasy, yeah.
But you've got like the hero stuff with it too, where they go and fight the bad guys. You have the really the anime music as they're like, ugh, we can't stop. We have to keep pushing on and beat this guy. Like all that sort of stuff. It'd be really cool with all of that. I think it'd be a fun thing. I'd check that out for sure.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'd like to see the Breaking Bad mash up with The Boys.
Now we're talking.
Tell me more. So instead of cooking the blue meth, Walter White cooks Compound V, right? And he's selling it street side.
That's interesting.
Right?
Because is it a less potent version of V? So
Or
that
more
like it kind of
potent
gives
version.
people smaller powers, you
Sure.
know?
Like mini
Is it-
powers?
Yeah, and because and maybe he finds like the true recipe to make the real shit,
Right, exactly.
then-
Or Vought is coming after him because he is making street level stuff that it far surpasses what they're making. Because
Oh my God.
he's just a genius chemist and he's cracked the code.
And then
or
what's
he's
different
figured out
is-
how to do it to where his can control. You can control the soups, or you can whatever it may be. It
When you said
create
soups,
the
I originally
brain
just thought
worms,
like a bunch of soups, like food. Just like they can control the soups.
You can control what clam chowder. You can control tomato bisque.
You got chicken noodle.
Right?
You throw some matzo
Street
ball.
korma is tasty, man. Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah, no,
interesting.
and what if Jesse teams up, like he finally gets tired of Walter's shit, and so he teams up with Starlight. Yeah. You got I think there's the Hank's in there. Maybe Hank and Billy Butcher team up.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting too, because it's one thing to create something that's like a pleasure drug for people, like meth. It's another thing to give people something that gives them powers, because essentially he's like an arms dealer at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
he ratchets
it's
it down.
different.
Yeah.
It's a different, I mean, obviously the meth business ain't great and it's dangerous, but the idea of like, I'm creating something that can give people special abilities.
Right.
It could also kill them too. So like,
dude, Gus Fring, Tuco, like all the people that he deals with, like if he's dealing arms, that ratchets up these distributors that he's working with. So
yeah, he does V and meth. He does them both. It's a combo. Can do both.
Yeah, I just think that'd be pretty badass. I would love to see, if I think he'd be the one to figure out. I know Frenchie kind of took a swing at Homelander, but I feel like Walter White going after Homelander somehow, putting something in him, and just a showdown between those two, or teaming up. Could there be a team up there? I don't know what would that storyline look like. So this one I would definitely say be a little bit of sci-fi meets action and a lot of gore. Lot of gore.
Yeah, for sure. Very very serious of the whenever Heisenberg's in there, and whatever that sort of stuff is super serious, and the boy stuff can be a little more silly.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing silly about Heisenberg.
It would be interesting to see how those two genres blend, though, because both can be serious shows. One has a comedic undertone that gets to come out. One does not.
Yeah, I think it's a great combo. Yeah. I'd really like to see that. Another one I'd love to see, because those are two very similar. One that I would love to see that are starkly different: Star Trek and Warhammer 40K.
All right, now tell me about this. I know everything I know about 40K. I've learned from you. So give me an education here.
So we start with Star Trek, right? It's this sort of like utopian idea of what sci-fi can be, right? It's not perfect. There's issues, but the idea is that the human race has reached a level where they're like, we're going to go out and we're going to explore the world. We're going to join the Federation of all these planets and things like that.
I love it.
And, they're all just like, it's a very optimistic sort of way to go about things. And then you have the other end of that spectrum, which is Warhammer 40K, which is like ultra grim dark. In the future, their tagline is, in the future, there is only war. That is the tagline for Warhammer 40K. It's rife with strife. There's no good guys. You've got these ridiculously dangerous races like the Tyranids, these insectoid-like things that just ravage places. You've got the orcs, who all they want to do is fight. Right. You've got the Imperium of Man, which is essentially a fascist regime intent on just trying to keep themselves alive because they're set upon by all these different things. You have Chaos, the gods of corruption. There's like magic and shit like that exists. And you got things like Space Marines. I would love it to see the first ship of like, I don't know, doesn't have to be the Enterprise, but they're like, hi, Starship Federation fleet, hailing. And it's like, pick any of them. I'd love for them to be the Imperium Man, because Imperium Man would be like, explain yourselves or be set upon, as they like are like, call them like heretics. They send in the Space Marines. They board their ship and they just start murdering everybody, because they don't trust them.
There would be absolutely no way out of that. I mean, that would be game over for the Federation, right?
I don't think the Federation would hold up very well, because while I think they have better technology, I mean, is it better? Is it good enough to beat a Warhammer 40K sort of like fleet of things? I don't think so, but
let me ask you this. Can anything beat the Space Marines when they're called in? Is there any way to
they can die.
Them?
They can absolutely die, but I don't think phasers are going to do it. I don't think phasers are going to stop these guys with their...
What if you set the phasers to kill and not stun?
Yeah, well, they've got ceramite armor, and these guys have been training for hundreds of years on how to fight. And they have... Oh, my God. I mean, you saw the the secret level episode of Warhammer.
yeah.
Those 4 guys, those 4 Space Marines, eradicated. Now, granted, those guys were just a bunch of ruffians, but they also fought demons. Yeah. And they fought a chaos sorcerer.
Beat ass everything that came at them.
Yeah. And everything I love about that is just shows how effortless it is for them. It's like a reaction. They don't think about it. They just do. And that's exactly what they do. If they were to board a ship, they would go in like the Astartes short you saw most of, or they just walk in, they immediately are just like, blam, 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 just like annihilating people left and right. But I also like, because there's the hopeful element of Star Trek on the other end of that.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see if some of that could be infused with the Imperium Man to help break them out of what they're doing. Because they're like, we came from this area where we don't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to succumb to this sort of thing. And they do all that. And then because they don't know the world, they are, taken over by chaos gods, and they go crazy. So
what is the Imperium a man again?
So basically that's the humans, so to speak. Like,
okay.
It's, they basically where all the humans are, what they're doing, and it is a dark, dark time for everybody. So, but it'd be really interesting to see Star Trek, Starfleet meet up with the Warhammer 40K universe. I'm here for it.
Talk about a juxtaposing of ideas. I think, and a lot of real dark. I would love to see the Schitt's Creek crew in the Walking Dead universe.
Tell me more.
I
love everything about this.
I'm just saying, right? So if you've ever watched the show, the little town that they're in, Schitt's Creek, like they've got they've got Bob's Garage, they've got the cafe, they've got all these little areas where it already looks a little run down. So just put zombies walking through there, and how they're in the motel, just how they're navigating, all like that's got to be their holdup, their base that they're defending. That's the little town that they have, because everyone's got a room, right? So that would be a nice little town to fortify. And then when you got to make runs into town, how do you what do you do? How do you go about that? And it's basically it's 4 like ex-socialites who are like the most narcissistic people that you've ever met, fiercely loyal to each other until something unless it's inconvenient for them, and then they're not. So like they're really family oriented, but not afraid to throw each other under the bus a little bit. Like Moira always needs her wigs and her makeup and her dresses, and Johnny just wants to do something business wise, and David like is super sarcastic. Alexis is flighty. I think it just would be a real weird. I don't think they would survive that long, but to merge the comedy of them trying to navigate it with the seriousness of the situation they're in, I think would be a really interesting. I
think it'd be a real short series, but I think it'd be really cool because I don't think anyone would be able to rely on them. They don't have any valuable skills in that scenario.
Not at all.
But boy, would I love to see them react to it.
Yeah. They've never done anything for themselves.
They'd be the first ones either thrown to the zombies, or they'd be the first ones to be killed and eaten as meat because they serve no purpose. Or
again, somehow, because the town bands together. So you got a town of working class folks. So if the town bands together, they might. I don't. Who knows? Maybe they can be the leaders of the town, like the governor was, right? And they can move the chess pieces around.
I think in times of crisis, we go back to our instincts of like, what value do you provide in the moment? And if you can't provide some sort of, then you're an ex-socialite. What do you, how do we get food? How do we get water? How do we protect ourselves? What are you providing for that?
Right.
Nothing cool. Then you don't get to stay because you are consuming our resources, and we have limited amounts of that. So
it could be the Walking Shits.
Yeah, the Walking Shits. Been there, man.
I think that's the name of the show.
That's me, like just moving to Chicago and just how bad I was eating all the time. It's like, welcome to Walking Shits, where Doug almost shits in a parking garage. But it was only stopped because a group of 4 women come out of a high-rise building, and I'm like, oh, suck it back in.
Best to tighten it up.
Yeah, adrenaline kicked in. It's like, you got to hold it up, man. Your shame is like, you can't do this, man. Can't do this.
There's another. That's a melatonin dream right there.
Yeah, right there you go. Another mashup I'd love to see is Marvel and Lord of the Rings. I think that'd be so cool to see. It's like, what if Thor's in Middle Earth? Talk about you can't get anything better than that. Like,
that would be fantastic.
Thor's just like, where are the orcs? Bring me Sauron. Like, I think.
One Mjolnir right to the eye. And,
Right to the eye.
We're
Ow,
done.
quit
Yeah.
it. You know. But I would love. Because again, especially in
cool.
that show, like not in that show, in that movie, like the magic is just not ever present. So to
Yeah.
see him show up and just like lightning slam, like orcs would have no. I mean, Aragorn and those guys just slaughter orcs wholesale. And now imagine if you got someone like Thor who's just like, you know,
Right. Oh, dude, it would be amazing to watch that.
and then you got like
if you could pick 3 people to come through, who would you bring into the world?
Doctor Strange, obviously, because real magic. Am I right? You know.
Yep.
You got Doctor Strange, you got Thor, and then, boy, who else do you pick? I mean, Iron Man would be pretty good.
I think Hulk would be pretty awesome.
Just basically. Now, the question is, you know, can he resupply his weapons? That's the problem.
True.
You know?
I'm saying I want to drop Hulk in there.
Oh, God, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Hulk versus
against
a
some of those
cave
big
troll?
orcs. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cave Troll doesn't stand a chance, you know, but
That'd be
Hulk
pretty-
versus a Balrog.
Dude, that would be so epic. It would be awesome.
Gandalf, you shall not pass. Hulk.
As they just go down again.
He's just.
And Gandalf's like, okay.
All right. Well, my character arc to become Gandalf the White has been destroyed. Like,
Onward we go.
I guess onto the forest. That would be great. Doctor Strange is an obvious pick. I mean, with his ability to portal, you know,
Yeah.
and I would love to see him and Gandalf just chalk shop. That would be much fun.
Or him against the, I don't know, what are the Death Eaters and the horses? What are they?
Oh, Nazgul.
Yeah. Him against the Nazgul would be
Or
really
watching
interesting.
Doctor Strange talk to like the high elves and things like that.
Sure,
like
yeah,
the kind of
yeah.
shit he could talk with that. That would be really cool. I thought Cap, but I was like, again, Cap doesn't need to be any more of a fish out of water. Like,
No.
he's just like, I don't know what any of this
You
is.
drop Cap there, he'd be like, what is this?
He'd be like, I hate my life. Not only am I like over 90 years old, I've already missed
Right?
several generations from where I was. Now I'm in Middle Earth. It's like, God,
I just want
this
to go
sucks.
watch the Yankees win the 1934 World Series.
This sucks. He'd just be miserable.
He really would be. I would love Doctor Strange too, because he could just, in the Shire, he just opens the portal to the mountain and they walk through, they drop the ring and they walk back.
Everyone's
Game
like,
over.
oh, the Eagles. Dr. Strange is like, hold my beer.
Hold on, I got this.
Where is it again?
I
Cool.
will save us some time.
There you go.
There
No
you go.
problem. Zip
Just-
right in there.
Huck that thing in
You don't
there.
even have to
got
go
it.
through the portal. I was like, give me the ring.
Yeah. Just throw it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to open up a portal looking down over the thing.
Right.
Just drop the damn thing in. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good
there
to
you
go.
Just whoop. Boop,
Where's the
rewind.
mead?
Where's the meat? He's like, I'm bored now. Although I bet he'd be fascinated with all the different artifacts and stuff that exist in that world too. That'd be fun. Man,
Absolutely,
how much fun would that be? I mean, you even start getting like, I don't know, get some of the X-Men in there. You get Nightcrawler.
Oh, God.
You get Gambit, Jubilee, you know.
Yes, now we're talking.
Now we're talking. You get Juggernaut.
Everyone needs a good fight. Well, when they win back in the Shire, what are they going to do for fireworks?
Right. You got Juggernaut just going through everybody. Spider-Man in there. He'd be like, what in the?
That would be a genuine. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would
my
be
God.
absolutely amazing.
There's just so many different combinations of things where it'd be cool to see who goes in there. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
I'd love to
We had
see.
some really, really cool. We posed this to our Discord, and we had some really cool stuff. Before we jump into that real quick, I have no explanation behind this. I just want to see a Ted Lasso Parks and Rec crossover.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know what the story is.
I feel like
just
that could happen.
I
You
just
know what
want
I mean?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
because like those aren't two very extreme things.
No,
You know?
I want to
Ted-
see Coach Beard and Ron Swanson just be together.
Oh my God.
I
feel like
just
they
want
would
that.
they would
Yeah.
be like adversaries at first, but then they'd respect each other.
Oh,
you
very
know?
much so. Yeah, very much.
Like,
Yeah.
it'd be cool. I think, what's Amy Poehler's character's name?
Oh my God, Leslie Knope. Yeah,
Yeah, like Leslie and Ted, I think would be getting along famously
Like
with each other.
gangbusters, yeah.
They're chipper.
just like unbridled optimism.
Yeah. Another quick
would,
one too. Sorry, go
Who would
ahead.
Roy Kent be opposite of? Oh, I think we got to put him opposite Andy, right? No, I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roy Kent and Andy would be fun together because you got the gruff. You got the,
'Cause
you
you
got
got-
the real gruff.
Roy
angry
Kent
guy.
would hate him, but Andy Dwyer's just like so positive and silly. He'd just be
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Why
to
are
see
you always
those.
mad?
Yeah. Another quick one, Ready Player One and The Matrix. Because what I like about this is you got people in the Ready Player One who just love to go to the Oasis, right?
Yeah.
That's where they plug in and that's
Yeah.
where they leave. And then you have the Matrix, which is this
They don't
universe
have a
where
choice.
people don't know and they're like plugged in and people are trying to get them out because, you know,
I like it.
so the idea of like, I don't know how that would work, but I find it fascinating. We have these
Again,
two
I don't know what the
competing
story
things.
is, but I like it.
No.
I want it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the
just know
idea
I
of
want
that.
it.
I think that'd be really, really cool.
But like I
All
said,
right.
we got some real interesting listener submitted ones.
Yes. A lot of great people. And if you want to submit, head over to the link in our description down below at youtube.com/mindgappodcast. Click the link to join our Discord, and you can add your 2 cents, be part of the show. First up, we got Noah, who just said community in the office. So similar thing. Just
That's it. I just want it.
yeah. Just let's combine all these characters together into one thing. That'd be fun. You know,
They do. There's an internship offered at the college at the Scranton Paper Company at Dunder
there you
Mifflin.
go. There
Done.
you go. He also said, I think it'd be fun if Gordon Ramsay from our universe was sent to Delicious Dungeon. If you're not familiar with that, it's an anime that's like people cooking food in a dungeon, you know, and I think it would make for very engaging reality television to have him cooking dishes while also fighting monsters in a dungeon.
Yeah. No, I'm into that very much. Very, very much. I love it.
Seth says Boba Fett gets isekai'd into Cyberpunk 2077 universe. That'd be fun.
Very fun because he's got all the gadgets and everything. Yeah, I think that would be very, very interesting. Sam Cook said the Halloween, the Michael Myers universe, and Scooby Doo. So you take Scooby Doo, who's always foiling the plot, but put him in real danger.
I mean, honestly, Scooby Doo universe just visits all the different horror franchises.
You know, let's just do that. Yeah, exactly. They're all dreaming and they just get killed by Freddy.
You got to go to Crystal Lake, see what's going on with all these campers. Keep going away. You know?
It was his mom the whole time. Zoink, Scoob.
Oh no. They go to sleep and Freddy Krueger's there, you know, like they're hanging out and the Critters monsters show up, you know? It just, you know, all the classic horror films, you know?
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun, right, yeah. Saw.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're trapped in here and I'm missing my fingers.
Like Scoob, you gotta eat through my leg, man.
Oh no, Scoob.
He's
There's something in my tum-tum that you have to dig out with your claws.
Oogie shaggy. Chris Vellucci had two similar vein, MCU versus the Monsterverse. So Kong, Zilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah. Like how would
those
they
are
handle
definitely
these
Avengers
big-
level events, that's for sure. You know,
That's what I'm saying. They would really have to work for
God,
for
I don't
old
think they could
atomic
win
breath.
against. I don't think they could win against Godzilla.
I don't know,
what you
man.
do.
That would be tough. That would be real
Yeah.
tough. I don't know what they would do to that one. You know what you'd have to bring in? You'd have to bring Captain Marvel. It'd have to be celestial level.
It's
that
like
level of hero.
infinity like Endgame sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You bring everyone in because you're like, this giant monster's fucking up the world.
Right, exactly, yeah. Then also MCU versus the Universal monsters. So
That'd
Mummy,
be
Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man, those in that ilk, I think. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde would be a fun one because that's just what Hulk is, essentially.
Yeah, I don't think the Universal monsters win.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Interesting. Okay.
Dracula does exist in the MCU, by the way. So
That's true. That's true.
Is
It's
there,
Morbius.
but I don't. What's the Mummy going to do?
Well, the Mummy, I did a little bit of reading on that before we jumped on here, and the Mummy actually, in the 1929 version, he was able to control minds. So, in theory, he
So can
could.
Emma Frost, Xavier, you know, Magneto's got his helmet on. He's fine.
Show me something interesting, jackass.
Wolfman, oh no. Blade kills him, you know. Blade kills Dracula, you know.
That's fair. You know what? Yeah, I get it. Universal.
Yeah, it's like good try, but no.
Haig had two really good ones. This first one I thought
I'll be
was
the judge of that.
fantastic. He had Dirty Harry versus The Sopranos. Dirty Harry versus The Sopranos. And his tag, I said, give me a tagline that explains this. And he goes, a detective that doesn't play by any rules versus criminals that make their own. And I was like, ooh, I said, you did a really good job on that, man.
Okay, dude.
You did good on that
Hey,
one.
go pitch that to HBO Max,
Right?
you know?
What was
Because
the
that's what
other
they're
one
calling
he did?
themselves again, is HBO. Fucking idiots.
Don't start me on that. He said Indiana Jones universe meets Guardians of the Galaxy universe, hunting relics and running from evil overlords together. Could be interesting, maybe.
Could
I
be.
Don't know.
I just love seeing Indiana Jones interact with Mantis.
Wait. Did he say? Oh, he said. Sorry. He goes. Indiana versus Nebula, Rocket versus Hitler. I'm like,
It would be funny to see Rocket be like, so this is the bad guy? All right.
right? That would be pretty awesome. Yeah. You could do
Drax and Indiana
Guardians,
Jones having conversations would be hilarious,
Guardians versus Guardians in the Star Wars would be awesome too.
That would be cool. That would be
I could
pretty
see
cool.
it because like Han and Rocket right there together. Or Star
you know
Wars
what? That's
too,
honestly, that fits so easily together. Like that,
Yeah.
the spacefaring stuff and everything. Yeah, they would fit in just fine in that universe. No problem.
Yeah.
And then Emilio said Magneto taking on armies of Sauron would be interesting, and the inverse of Gandalf talking with Doctor Strange would prove intriguing. So, like, but yeah, imagine Magneto. That's like, he's just all these armies, and he's just like rises in the air and just goes squish as they all just explode
Because
with
they are
their
all wearing
armor.
the metal, armor. That would be awesome.
Even the Nazgul, he's just like, you may be magical, but squish.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's super cool. All right. We're going to do one more segment here before we get to our game. It's called Build a Crossover Challenge. So here's how this is going to work. I have a list of fictional universes, and I also have a list of genres. What I'm going to have you do, Justin, is I want you to pick a number between 1 and 21.
18.
18. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to roll a dice because Justin's picking one and I'm going to pick one, and together we're going to mash these. We're going to smash them together, and then where's my roller? Show me there we go. Okay, give me my D21,
Right, which is the standard in any set.
which exists. That's a thing.
Right.
21-sided die. All right, roll me my D21. Here we go.
What did we get?
I rolled a 13.
13.
Okay, so we have. All right, we've got the Avatar universe,
Shit.
like Last Airbender, and we have The Witcher.
Oh man!
Now I'm
Wow.
gonna roll again. We're gonna find the genre that these are gonna
Okay.
be mashed together with. I rolled a 12.
No,
The
Witcher.
genre is dystopian,
That's not too hard, right? I
set in
feel
a
like-
flawed or oppressive future society.
Okay. All right.
All right, so all right.
Okay. So he's not Gallant. What's his name?
Geralt,
What is it? Geralt?
Gary,
Gulrog? Randall?
Geralt.
Randall? Garrett. Sorry, that's right. Garrett.
Garrett,
So
yes, it's Garrett. Garrett the Witcher.
Garrett the Witcher has heard, because he's a monster hunter, right?
He is a monster hunter.
So he's heard of these monsters. This town folk are talking about these monsters that control the elements. And he is sent off, deployed, hired to go hunt them down, not realizing exactly what he's going after.
I like that. In the Avatar universe, there's also a bunch of creatures that are often like a combination of two animals that we're familiar of. Like there's like a floating bison that has like the tail of a beaver. There's like a lemur that also has like a bat wings. There's a dragon turtle. There's like all this sort of stuff that exists. So maybe he hears rumors of these strange creatures that exist, and he goes to hunt them. And along the way, he runs into the Benders. And also in the Witcher universe, there is magic and sorcery and things like
do the
that.
Benders protect these animals, or are these like the enemies of the Benders?
No, oftentimes, some of them are just wild animals. Oftentimes, like the Airbenders all have sky bison that they use as creatures to fly around on and things like that. So there's a lot of them that are their pets and things like that. So there could be like people talking about, hey, there's this army of whatevers, and Witchers, they get paid. So they're basically mercenaries. So I'm like, hey, go. Maybe he gets paid. Maybe someone nefarious is like, hey,
Right.
we found these people. We consider them a threat. I need you to go slaughter them.
Yeah.
And maybe he does. Maybe he does kill one of them. And then that's like, oh my God.
That sets
someone
off the rest of them.
And then it becomes this whole thing where you now have, the Witcher has started a war with the Benders.
I like it. Now, how do we get to the dystopian aspect of it? Has the veil between universes lifted and the two worlds have collided and thus making a wasteland?
Well, here's the thing,
Two
too.
realities slamming into each other?
Yeah, it could be like maybe there is something because of that they've merged now, and depending on where you go in the Avatar timeline, there is some steampunk elements that exist to some degree in that sort of stuff. But yeah, like the dystopian idea that like most of society has, maybe there's a giant war that's fought, right? Between the kingdoms of the Witcher and the kingdoms of, and maybe there's just a constant war. So there's just like the land is ravaged.
Yeah,
and
okay, I like this.
All society is gone, and maybe what we're seeing is now Geralt and other Witchers have just been hired essentially to go and attack the Benders, and maybe they realize there's something more there, you know?
Conversely, because isn't in the Bender world, isn't there like everyone bends like one thing, but then there's some people who can bend all of the things, right?
That's the Avatar. Ooh, which is a good point.
So maybe the Avatar, maybe all the Benders are like, hey, look, you know, we're tired of this war. Like, go in this. And so the Avatar is going. Like the Witchers are being sent off to hunt. The Bender the Avatar gets sent off to hunt, and they're now it's a cat and mouse game between these two alpha, the Witcher and the Avatar.
That's interesting, because in the Witcher universe, there's not very many Witchers left.
Right.
So there's only a handful of them.
So in this, what if our Witcher is the last one?
Maybe.
So there's one Avatar, there's one Witcher.
Avatar would destroy the Witcher. No questions.
Without doubt?
None. Without a doubt. Like the
how
Witcher's
many
powerful,
how many Witchers would you need to take down an Avatar?
I don't know, man. A fully realized Avatar that just like can control all the elements at once. I mean, we're talking like there was an Avatar in the series who essentially split a continent. Like she was basically like she created a fault line and split off.
So it's tough. So 4 or 5 Witchers?
We're talking. They're gonna drink their potions and they have their silver swords. You know, like
Did they each have their own like song guy?
Yeah, they have the bard.
Yeah.
For someone who hasn't seen this, you know a fair amount of it, Justin.
I watched the first episode.
Oh, look at this guy, the 1 episode wonder.
You know,
I've watched the first Witcher, as Justin would say.
I've watched the first Witcher. Real quick, answer me this. Why is it Avatar the Last Air? Why do they call it airbending if this Avatar can control everything?
Okay, so the Avatar in this universe is something that happens. There's always an Avatar. When the Avatar dies, their spirit is reincarnated into the next iteration. Okay. And it follows a pattern. Like it goes like you think of the different elements as seasons. So you've got summer is fire, fall is wind, winter is water, and spring is earthbending. So if you have an earthbender, that's an Avatar. Around, they start out as the Avatar. They learn all the elements. When they pass on, then it goes to a firebender. Which is the summer, and then so on and so forth. It's just a continual cycle.
Got it.
Where it reincarnates into something else. So there's only ever one Avatar at any given time.
Okay.
And if they die, they're reincarnated. And, it'll take some time for them to basically be realized and they have to train all the skills, and then they become fully powerful Avatar. So this is called The Last Airbender because in that show, all the Airbenders are murdered. And there's only one left.
By the Witcher?
Show, by the way. By the Witcher. That's why it's called Avatar: The Last Airbender, because he's the last Airbender and he's the Avatar. So
let me ask you this then: in our little show that we've created, could a Witcher take on a single bender?
Yes, I think they could absolutely
like
take
just
on
a one element bender.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. It depends. Again, there's different skill sets within that, with what people are able to do. If there's like a very talented grandmaster level bender, it'd be difficult, but they could absolutely take on a regular guy, no problem.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good fight, but it depends. It's like anyone else that has a sword, right?
Right.
Depending on their abilities, how well. But Witchers are also, they live forever, so they don't age.
They do?
They basically don't age. So.
Oh, I think that was covered in the first episode. I remember that.
So they can die, but they don't age. So they essentially, again, that expertise carries on, so they can be really, really good at what they do.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
There you go.
Let us know your thoughts. What worlds would you want to see just mesh together and smash? What would you like to see? Tell us in those comments.
Just smash.
Smash. Get dirty.
Smash it.
All right, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
I missed you last week. I had a fun game that I did with Noah that was just for him.
Okay.
And now it's time to get back to business with our Guess the Movie game. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Let's do this.
You've seen it. You've seen it. You've maybe seen it. One of
I'll be
the
the
third
judge of
one
that.
I think is pretty iffy whether or not you've seen it, but I know you've seen these first two.
Okay.
So here we go. First
rock and roll.
one off the top.
You know, when you grab a woman's breast and you feel it and it feels like a bag of sand when you're touching it.
Bag of sand.
The Sound of Music.
Hey, of course, Lawnmower Man.
Naturally, yeah. That was the Von Trapp family. That was Liza.
The night before they
Right.
they try to escape the Nazis.
Colonel Klink was there, and yeah. Sorry, that was
Dr.
Bogus
Mustard.
Heroes. Doctor,
Yeah.
Doctor in the library. Yeah. That was the 40-year-old virgin with that.
That is, yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments.
That was absolutely. I could at first. I very very briefly. I'm like, what is this? And then I'm like, oh
Yeah.
wait, yeah. I haven't
What's
seen
that
that. That used to be probably one of my top 5 movies of all time, and I really want to go back and watch it again.
There's definitely a scene that doesn't work as well anymore when
Yeah.
Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen are playing games and they're discussing like how they know each other are gay.
Yep.
It doesn't really.
Yep. Yeah.
You're like
I can
that's
see
that's
that.
peak
That's a
early
sign-
2000s.
Sign of the times there. Yeah. Exactly.
But still solid film. I think. I don't know.
A solid film. Yeah. Great concept too. Great conceit.
Yeah, really well done.
All right.
Okay, excellent. Nailed it.
You get an easy one to kind of get me back into it. I'm
Sometimes.
I'm loose now.
Sometimes
I'm
you
feeling
don't.
it.
I've got an easy and a hard version of this. I'm going to do the hard one because I don't
Yes.
think you're gonna. I think you're gonna. I think you're gonna nail this.
I like the
this-
hard version.
No, and I know you're gonna nail this. I don't think you're gonna need any time. You're gonna just immediately be like, I got it. So
Not liking this. Let's go.
here we go.
What's the password? New England clam chowder.
Is that the red or the white?
I had the extended
I can never
version.
remember this.
I had the extended
White?
version that included that, and I was like, I don't think you're gonna need it. So
Ace Ventura, baby. That is Ace Ventura.
yeah, classic.
That is the first one, right?
That is the first one.
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that would, of course, because he's not in the jungle. Asking that.
I mean, that's a classic.
That's a classic. Yeah. As everyone knows, when in the jungle, you talk about New England clam chowder.
That's right. So yeah, classic.
Ah, good pull on that. That would make me
Classic
happy.
line.
Again, when I was growing up, I watched that VHS to the point where the tape almost snapped. I loved those shows.
Yeah. I think the first time I watched it, I laughed repeatedly when he was doing the whole thing with the door opening and closing.
Oh yes,
And
yes,
I think I
absolutely.
rewind. I made
Still
my
one of my
friend-
favorite birthday gifts to send someone.
Yeah.
GIFs, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because
I'm sorry. The what?
The GIFs, not.
Oh,
gifts.
we're just spelling it out now.
Well,
we're
I
not
want,
saying.
I want you to think that I sent that as a gift to people. It's a gift that I
I
sent.
did actually think you said it's one of my favorite gifts. I was
see?
like, oh, okay.
Yes.
You're right. Fair enough.
It's my favorite
Fair enough.
GIF to send to people. Not here. Not here. But
right.
again, one of those where as a kid watching this, being like, this is so funny. So many things that now that I watch it with adult eyes, I didn't understand.
Yep.
Like, I think we've talked about this. In the beginning, when he finds the dog and she thanks him, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just I don't know why he's doing that. Like, why is she giving him like why is he holding on to the thing? And what's going on?
Yeah.
Didn't understand that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
All right.
let's
Last
let's
movie.
go.
Again, don't think you've seen this, but we'll see. It's a great moment. Here we go.
Damn, son. You a fighting fucking drinking machine, ain't you?
Machine, that's it. That's his war name.
That's perfect.
I christen the machine. Machine.
Oh, I can't even make out what they're saying.
Okay.
It just sounds like muddled dialogue to me. I
Okay.
heard machine.
That's the
couple
important
times.
part. That's the
You know-
important part.
You know what I heard, Doug?
Yeah.
Just a couple
That's the
times.
movie. It's from The Matrix. No, it's not.
All right.
That's right. That is
Is this
the
the
thing.
Sound of Music?
So I'll give you some context. So
Okay.
you hear someone make a noise, which obviously always out of context. Right as I play this, I'm like, this sounds sexual.
I love it. Yeah.
It's like, and then someone like remarks on something they're doing, and they say, "Look at he's a drinking, fighting, fucking machine."
Okay.
And then they say, "That's his war name, Machine." Machine, and they start calling him Machine. So I'll play it again for you with that context. Here you go.
Damn, son. You fighting fucking Frank Machine, ain't you?
Machine, that's it. That's his warning.
That's perfect.
I christened the Machine. Machine.
Fury.
Yes. Yes. Have you seen that movie?
I have not, no. But I was like, that's Shia LaBeouf in the beginning, and that's Brad Pitt. I was like, I know, I that without unmistakably, those are those two voices. And the only movie that I know that they were in together is Fury.
Very good. At the very end, you hear Michael Pena.
Is that okay? Yeah, okay.
And John Bernthal with a very
it's a movie
southern.
that I've wanted to see for a long time, but I've just never gotten around to it. But it's a movie I'm assuming you would recommend.
So good. It is a bit of a downer, but it's a really good movie.
The only scene that I've seen from that movie is where they're around a dinner table, and it looks real uncomfortable.
That is an intense scene.
Yeah,
really intense scene.
Yeah,
and
it looks. I was watching. I'm like, oh, this is. I think people are not happy around this table.
It's basically these guys. It's towards the end of the war in Germany, and Hitler is basically called total war, which means everyone has to take up arms. Okay. So essentially, they're kind of rolling through, but it's just like there's just like still some resistance from there, and this tank crew has been together for most of the war, and this new kid, he's like fucking just brand new. He's like 8 months out of boot camp. He's like, I'm a typist, and they threw me here, and he gets just plopped in this tank because one of their members dies, and he has to just fill in, and they're like, Jesus Christ, who is this kid?
Right.
And so he's in there with Michael Pena. He's in there with John Bernthal, Shia LaBeouf, and Brad Pitt, and he's got these basic grizzled war veterans, and they're running a tank. And
that's awesome.
It's interesting. There's another great line from that, which I should have pulled, but it probably doesn't make sense. But there's a part where Brad Pitt's character shows Logan Lerman, who plays Norman, the new kid. He goes, come here, I want to show you something. And they're in a town that they just took over. And in this room is a bunch of these, you could call them like aristocratic Nazis who basically got drunk and then killed themselves before the troops arrived. And he's like, look at them. Look at what they did. They got all boozed up, and then they just basically shot themselves. And Norman's like, why are you showing me this? He's like, ideals are peaceful. History is violent. And because Norman has trouble killing people, he's basically he's basically saying, you got to get over it. And, and you see what that does to people. So really great film. It's one of my favorites. It's pretty dark, but it's really, really good. Highly recommend it. It's a great movie all around. So
love it.
Justin, you fucking did it. I'm so proud of you.
I'm back, baby.
And one of you hadn't even seen, but you figured it out because you're a smart boy. Smart boy.
Because I have movie intelligence.
Movie time. Cool. Let us know. Did you get those? Hope so. Otherwise, you're out of here. Justin, what do you have to recommend this week?
So I'm going to recommend the Apple TV Plus series called The Studio. This is Seth Rogen and his creative partner Evan Goldberg created this together, and it is it's basically about the studio system. So Seth Rogen plays Matt Remnick. He at the very beginning gets the studio head job, and it is him as a 40-something trying to navigate this. He is a incredible lover of cinema. Really just like he got into it because he loves the art and just wants to make good movies and that say something that has a message, and then quickly learns studio system will eat you up and spit you out. And it's nothing like that. So it is, I'll say this, it's very funny, very pointed for a lot of like where we are with different cultural and society things and like where the conversation is. It's subversive. I don't know. I loved it. I've talked to a lot of people who are in the industry who have said like, and higher levels than I am in the industry. And they're like, this is made by someone in the industry for those of us in the industry. You can still very much appreciate it if you're not in the industry, but just know that what you're watching is very much how it's. So one person I saw in an interview was like, this could be a documentary, not a series. Like they're like, this is just how it is, unfortunately. and which makes it even more entertaining and also just wildly absurd. So I would strongly recommend watching this series. The other thing I'll say is Seth and Evan directed. I think they had like 5 writers on every episode. Seth and Evan directed each episode themselves, and they made use of a lot of oneers, which is one take shots. Wow. The second episode is called The Oneer, and it is about...
My brother was telling me about this the other day.
Yeah. So the second episode is called The Oneer. It itself is shot as a oneer, and a true one, like not like 1917 where they spliced together. They truly shot this oneer for this episode, where he goes to set for one of the movies that his company is producing, and the set that he goes to, they're trying to get a oneer to close out the film before they lose sunset. And so there's this time box, this like anxiety-riddled time box that the sun is going down. And so it's this meta thing. It's called The Oneer. It's about getting a oneer, and it is shot as a oneer with this beautiful bookend. And it's just like that by itself. I'm like, the level of creativity on this is stunning. So, and it got picked up for season 2. So awesome. Happy days. So I strongly recommend watch the studio on Apple TV Plus. Doug, what do you got?
I took Natalie today to go see Thunderbolts. And
how was it?
Holy shit. It was so good. It was so refreshing to see a Marvel movie that like did it again, like captured the essence. I've heard that concept. Like it's like classic Avengers, level like stuff.
It feels like it used to.
It's so good, man. Because really what it is, it's a movie about depression and loneliness at its core. Someone was like, I want to make a movie about this, and we'll put it in the Marvel universe with all these characters. Yeah. And it's really great, and it doesn't follow the classic formula of, here's this supervillain that has the same powers as the heroes, and then they fight it out. They just explore what it's like to be depressed and lonely in a lot of different ways. It's got great humor. It's got some fun acting, and like David Harbour is like some of the best comedic relief in the film. I love it. And Wyatt Russell's fantastic. It's just all together.
Thank
all
God
around.
they gave him a beard to cover up that up old man chin.
Florence Pugh's great. Like, it was just awesome. All around, just solid stuff. So highly recommend. I heard nothing but good things. I'm like, all right, I got to go see this before it gets out of theaters.
I need to go to the theater to see this one. This is one that I want to see in the theater.
It's really, really good. So believe the rumors. It's a great film. You should check it out. And if you enjoy Marvel at all, it's worth it. So you'll enjoy it for sure. Thanks for hanging out with us, gang. As always, please head over to youtube.com/mindgappodcast. Hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Those are the free ways you can support us and help us hit that algorithm and let people know that we're good. You can trust us, right? Right? Click the button if you're not a robot. Click it. Check the link in the description for links to our Discord. Be part of our family and contribute your thoughts and feelings on things that could make it into the episode. Also, check out links to our merch at Redbubble. Catch our new merch there, as well as links to our Patreon. And check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram, at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, make sure wherever you consume audio podcast, you find us and consume us there as well. Apple Podcasts, Good Pod, Podbean, Spotify, all the places where you get them. You can find us there. Download, subscribe, rate, review, all the things that you normally do. We ask that you do there as well. Big one is sharing. Like Doug said, just let one person this week, let them know that we exist. It means a lot. It goes a long way for us, and we thank you in advance for that. TwoEastEighth.com, TwoEastEighth on all social media, loveandimprovfilm.com, Love and Improv Film on Instagram.
Booyah. With that, I'll say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Listeners, viewers, thank you. And you all, have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.